you get that winning ad, that winning sales letter, and then you can replicate it. That's when someone transitions from an amateur marketer to a pro marketer, is when they actually have something that works and they can keep shoving money in the slot machine. And instead of crossing their fingers, praying, hoping that it's going to work, you actually have a replicatable system.
Hello, this is Joe Polish. Now, real quick, before you listen to the podcast, which I hope you're going to love, just wanted to let you know I spent the entire last year on a sabbatical, and I've got so many insights, so many things that would be super valuable. And my first official coming back event, my first public appearance is going to be February 11th through the 13th in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. So if you are a high-level entrepreneur and you would like to attend in person, go to joepolishreturns.com. joepolishreturns.com. Check it out. Hope to see you there. Now enjoy the podcast.
We want to offer direction, confidence, capability, and clarity. I kind of learned those words through Strategic Coach. You can find those words in the dictionary also. However, the combination of them are really great. One of the things I decided to do was come up with a list of fundamentals. Out of all these questions, what are some things here as a business owner that would help you with growing and building a business? So the name of our podcast is I Love Marketing. So that presupposes you're interested in marketing. And one of the things that I learned early on in my life is the difference between selling and marketing. And selling is what you do when you're on the phone or face-to-face with somebody. Marketing is what you do to get someone on the phone or face-to-face with you, properly positioned. So by the time they're talking to you, they're pre-interested, pre-motivated, pre-qualified, predisposed to give you money. The fundamentals list is write a sales letter and get the copy down. Literally sit down and write a sales letter as if your life depended on it. Now, the most important thing, and I think Dean will back me up on this, the most important thing when it comes to making an offer is the list. The list is actually more important than the offer. So if you got supply and demand on your side, then you don't need to be a fancy marketer. But if you're trying to compete with other people, confusion in the marketplace, you better get that down. That being said, though, there's something that happens when you sit down and write a letter. And what I can tell from so many of these questions, people want answers, but they don't want to do the work. It's kind of like, I want to be in great physical shape, but they have zero interest in learning how to eat, learning how to exercise, learning how to get better sleep. And they just want to immediately, how do I become, physically fit? Well, there's a process to it in the same way that how do you build and grow and market a company? The second, which is one of our 8 profit activators, is identify your target audience. Who are you actually marketing to? So there's a lot of questions of what's the best way to generate business. Well, the thing that you'll do, okay, we may say that the best way to generate business is do a webinar and run Facebook ads to do it. But if you won't do a webinar and you don't know how to run Facebook ads, you got to learn that, or you're simply not going to do it. And it depends on who your target audience is. Identify the results your product or service produces. Me and Dean have continuously talked about, if you could only get paid if you produced a result, how would that change your business? So whatever it is that you're selling, whatever product or service you're selling, identify what is the result that actually produces. Collect social proof, evidence of success. Some of the best copies, some of the best marketing that will ever be written, said, stated about you and your products, your services, your company, yourself, you're not going to come up with it yourself. Someone else has already said it. Almost every business owner wants sales. Many business owners don't want help with their sales. Many people live in a fantasy land that I wish the money fairy would just come and poop money on us and we wouldn't have to do anything. So it's not about getting them to admit they need help. It's lead generation. It's how you're actually attracting them. Where are you fishing? I mean, all of this is fishing. What's the bait? What's the hook? What's the fish that you're trying to catch? And only the hungriest fish are going to snap at the crappiest bait. Whatever it is you're selling, you want to put information in front of it. What I recommend everyone do, if you haven't already, is take your first name and register, like Carol here. We've got Carol. So Carol's free book, Greg's free book. Because what we're doing is we're putting information in front of somebody as a way to lead generate.
Most of the time, people think that I've got to get my name out there as the first step in marketing. I used to do this experiment. I would say to people, so pick somebody in the front row, and I'd say, let's imagine that this 800-person audience here represents an 800 home subdivision, or 800 commercial commercial tenants, or 800 of whatever your prospect is. Put yourself in this situation here. And I'm saying, I'm going to give you a choice. Number one, you can come up on stage here, give me 800 of your business cards. I'll hand them out to everybody, and I'll give you 2 minutes to tell people who you are and what you do and what's so great about Tim Paulson. I'll help you get your name out there. Everybody will know who you are. Or you can stay right there in your seat, and I'll have somebody bring you an envelope, and in that envelope will be a piece of paper with the name, address, telephone number of the 80 people in this room who are going to sell their house in the next 12 months. Which would be more valuable to you? What would you choose? We did that. I never, ever had somebody say, well, let me get up on stage, because they realize it's so much more valuable to know that you know who they are than they know who you are, in a way, right?
I made more money giving away free rooms of carpet cleaning than ever did price discounting my services. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to default to price, because I learned this early on. Every consumer has a system for buying, and it's called price. And if you don't have a system for selling what it is that you're selling, you always default to the buyer's system for buying, which is price. Mm-hmm. And the worst offer that you could make is no offer at all. The second worst offer you can make is a price offer, mm-hmm. unless you're truly in such a commodity business that the only, criteria that someone's going to use, which is rarely ever the case, is simply price. Although people believe that is the case. And I also learned when I was studying marketing, lifetime value of a customer. It's mm-hmm. the Jay Abraham thing. Jay's become a real dear friend of mine over the years. You don't know how much you can afford to spend to acquire a client unless you know how much they're actually worth. There is a segment of the population that does not feel psychologically good unless they spend the most amount of money for something, right, because they equate that with the best. Now, here's the real kicker, though. If what you're selling is expensive or higher priced than other stuff, then make it better than anything else, like truly genuine. Because if you just use a high price as a psychological positioning thing, which you certainly can. I mean, there's many country clubs, there's many sort of ways that the art world, so much of the art world is just insider trading, and it's a positioning thing, and a lot of it I don't even understand, but it's fascinating. You're in the arithmetic business. When it comes to making money, the real business that you're in, whatever you think, what industry you're in, or whatever it is you're selling, when it comes to making money, you're in the arithmetic business. Mm-hmm. And so focus a portion of your marketing into figuring out how to identify who are the highest level players with money that will pay for what it is that you're actually selling. That's not to say that you can't be in a lower price market. And some people, they don't operate well in the high price. That's just not their world. That's not what it is they do. However, if you can make the math work, there's a lot that can be said. And I taught carpet cleaners how to be the highest price, but also the best, because the more money you can make, the more you can service your clients, the better everything that you can provide, because you're not so strapped with margins. Howard Schultz knew that he could lower the price and still make enough margins on a 2-cent commodity to where he would open up a giant portion of the marketplace if he started, offering lattes and stuff for $1 or $2, but it would ruin the experience, because once it was established that you pay $3 to $5 for a gourmet coffee, it just doesn't feel good if you go in and pay $1 for it. Just something seems really off.
It's like go to the 7-Eleven to get $1 cup of coffee, right?
Exactly. And so part of the, part of the joy that a lot of people have is their expectations. If you go to McDonald's and you get a Big Mac, which you should never do because that's like toxic food and it'll kill you. However, if you go and eat like a hamburger at McDonald's versus you go to the Four Seasons and order a hamburger, well, one may cost you, $3 at one place, and you may give them money and they don't even say thank you, and it doesn't register like, whatever, But if you go to the Four Seasons and the server does not say thank you and there's not a presentation, you feel like you have a different set of expectations. So when it comes to high prices, what you're really selling is what are the